Hey guys, welcome to our Toxic Free Home class. Thank y'all so much for taking the time to watch this. This is something that I personally am super passionate about, and I think I can speak for these other ladies when I say that they are too. And we're really excited to share some things with y'all. And so, first, I get to be the bearer of some bad news. So, we're just going to jump right in. So, in our world today, some of the most dangerous chemicals that we are exposing ourselves to are actually in the products that we use in our home every single day that we choose to spend our money on. And they're kind of hidden, they're not really where you would expect. So, what we're finding as more research is coming out and people are really tired of being sick and tired, they're recognizing that these chemicals are a really big reason why we are sick, both just with kind of small illnesses here and there, but also with really chronic illnesses later in life, and unfortunately what is getting younger and younger in life. So they can be contributing to your health problems, emotional problems, hormonal problems, and really just not living a life that can be lived fully and vibrantly. So I'm going to continue with some more bad news, but then don't worry, I promise it will turn for the better. So I want to, before I read you some facts, I want to give a little bit of context from where I am coming from with this. So when I first got into Young Living, I was all about the oils. I thought they were great. I ordered oils every single month. My products in my home out for clean products like I was hearing people talk about, seeing people do. I honestly rolled my eyes at it. I was like, I've been using these products. My parents have used these products. And actually do some research and reading and see if there's anything to all this talk. So, a little more, particularly in baby products at that time, but then also recognizing when he was in utero, everything I put on my body was also going straight to him. And so I started taking it a little bit more seriously. So about that time, we started switching out products. And what these facts I'm about to read you are some of the ones that helped me really open my eyes to just kind of the reality of our products. So I'm just going to read these. So you're going to see me just looking at my notes over here. So here are just some random facts about some toxic chemicals in our products. Store-bought soaps contain sodium lauryl sulfate, laureth sulfate, and lauryl sulfate, a toxic chemical used to remove car grease off of garage floors. This can be damaging to your skin as well as disruptive to your immune health and hormonal health. Both adult and kid shampoos contain phthalates, a toxic chemical that has been banned in children's toys, but it is still found in body cleansing products. It's known to be an endocrine disruptor. Endocrine system is our hormones, and very hard for the body to break down when used consistently over time, like when you take a bath. The main ingredient in candles and home sprays is formaldehyde, which is the number one cancer-causing chemical and is what we are embalmed with in the morgue. You probably know that. They say inhaling scents from candles or sprays is the equivalent to inhaling secondhand smoke, which is even more dangerous than actually smoking the cigarette yourself, which is so crazy. And I will just be the first to say that I was heartbroken over learning that about candles, especially right now in this time of year. Fall candles are the best smelling candles ever. But don't worry, we got some diffuser recipes for you that are even better. Okay, store-bought household cleaning products contain 2 dash but oxyethanol pronunciation, which is and severe liver and kidney damage. Store-bought laundry detergents and dryer sheets contain alpha terpineol, benzyl alcohol, and camphor, which are all toxic ingredients that cause central nervous system disorders, loss of muscular coordination, central nervous system depression, headaches, nausea, and vomiting. Baby products contain the listed ingredient fragrance. Now, I'll just go ahead and say here, it is not just baby products. That little sneaky ingredient is everywhere in everything, because obviously we want things to smell good. So it usually says fragrance or it says parfum, P-A-R-F-U-M. So look for those on your ingredient list. So fragrance is simply a broad category that hides hundreds of toxic chemicals behind the word itself. Companies are not required to reveal the actual chemicals that are within the fragrance category, hence keeping the public in the dark about the true toxicity of the products that we're putting on ourselves. So basically, the law protects the companies from releasing a proprietary fragrance blend because other people will knock off their smells, basically. Women apply over 300 chemicals to their face and skin per day, including talc, bismuth, parabens, lead, mercury, and mineral oil. These chemicals are found in store-bought skincare and makeup products, which can disrupt endocrine system, are highly carcinogenic, and even have been found in tumors. So that lays it on pretty thick, pretty quick. And so you might be wondering, like, why in the world is all this stuff allowed in our products? Like, I used to think, like, if I can buy it, then it's not going to be hurting me. Like, if I can buy it on the store shelf in Target or Walmart or Natural Foods or these places, like, it should be fine. And so in doing a little bit more research, I learned that there was a Toxic Substances Control Act of 1976 that was passed that grandfathered in, depending on where you read, it says between 75,000 and 80,000 chemicals as safe to be used in our products. Basically, they grandfathered all of these chemicals in with the intent to test them in our products than any other of the major countries. Like the UK is way ahead of us in this. And you can look that up. So something else that I hear a lot is, and this is something I thought, is okay, well, these things are in these products, but it's a really tiny amount. Like, it's not going to be doing anything in one time. But the thing is you're not putting your lotion on one time, putting it on, and or if it's not every day, it's still pretty frequent. And so when we start using these, when we do use these products on a consistent basis, accumulation occurs. And this basically means that to toxins chemicals, so some could be showing up now. But here's one of the biggest things that I learned that was like a big, just like aha moment for me, is so many of the things that we experience nowadays that are normal, are totally normalized, are actually not meant to be normal. A really simple example is frequent headaches. Like, that is not supposed to be a normal thing. really jacked up hormones and things that go along with hormones being crazy. Those don't have to be normal things. And I want to be careful because there are plenty of hormonal things that are unrelated to chemical exposure. But the reality is that these chemicals that we are all using or all exposed to, a lot of them act, and when you hear endocrine disruptor, that means they act as a chemical in your body. I mean, a hormone in your body, excuse me. And so it's like a lock and key situation. And this toxic chemical acts as the key and goes into the lock and plugs it up, basically. So our hormones can't actually do their job, and our body isn't communicating like it's supposed to. And so we get all these crazy hormone issues. And so that is actually a little bit of part of what was like a big aha moment for me with this idea of toxic chemicals. One, as I mentioned, I got pregnant. Okay, there's probably something to this thing. So I started slowly ditching and switching, which we'll hear a little bit more about later. And like a few months in, all of a sudden my husband was like, wait, I haven't had a headache in like a week. And he used to get chronic major headaches at least between 3 and 5 times a week. It was bad. And we're like, oh, well, that's really cool. And even at the time, we're like, I don't know, maybe that's just a coincidence. I don't know. But then I started noticing that my hormones are more regular. I won't go into some details of that because some of them are a little bit more personal, but some of the parts that I will share are that I started noticing that my like 2 o'clock lull wasn't as bad. My body was like more willing to wind down at 10 p.m. instead of like get a total second wind. I was also using some oils intentionally at that time to help balance out my hormones. But I had been using those oils prior and I hadn't. And so it was basically like my husband and I were healthy. We were young and healthy and no, major health issues. But we realized that these things that were so normal for us actually shouldn't have been normal. And so I am so thankful that began the trajectory of me starting to switch out products. And so you've already heard that I used to be the person that rolled my eyes at this. So I want to say there is no judgment here. We are not coming at you with any of this. We all started where you are, and we just learned, and someone shared with us like, you're learning and we're sharing with you now. And then we just started bit by bit starting to make some changes. And so we're going to tell you a little bit more about how you can do that both affordably and effectively. And so I will pass it off to Heather.
So my story kind of goes along with Ashton's. So she invited me a year ago, actually 2 months ago, to a little party that she had. So she had all the products on display and everything, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll stop by. So I went, and she was like, okay, well, have you heard about essential oils? And I was like, yeah, and I was kind of like, whatever, I really trust your judgment, Ashton, but I'm not too crazy about it. And then she was like, okay, well, do you have any problems with anything? And I was like, I get headaches all the time, but that's just kind of how it's always been. I've just grown up with them. So kind of like her husband. So she was like, you should try peppermint. So I was like, cool. And then she was like, you should get the starter kit. And I was like, okay, cool. It comes with a diffuser. So I got that. And then she kind of walked me through each oil in the kit. So I started with that. And so I started with the headaches. And I just used my peppermint instead of taking medicine. And I was like, wow, that's instant relief. And that really helps. And then I started diffusing different things, and so like I kind of forgot about my candles for a little bit, and it was kind of like her husband, like I stopped having headaches so often, or like when I did, it was because I smelled something like very strong that I was like, oh wow, like that's what's giving me a headache today. Or like sometimes it's something I eat, but like now I can pinpoint where my headaches come from rather than just randomly, oh, I have a headache again. Like that's just the way it goes. Um, so that was a big deal for me. And then I started looking into the hormone type stuff, and um, I'll use one to regulate my hormones during my cycle, and that has helped like tremendously. They were My doctor wanted me to try birth control, and I was like, well, I really don't have a need for that. Like I don't really want to mess up my body that way. And so I tried it for a little while, and it did wreck me. And then it was right about the time I started oil, like right before I started oils. And so after I did that, I was like, oh man, like I don't have to do that anymore. So switched back, and now I'm not on anything, and I get to use my oils to balance everything out. And so leading into that, when Ashton sold me my starter kit, she was like, well, hey, do you want to be a part of our Central Rewards program? And I was like, oh, I always get like on auto draft and forget to cancel things. But again, I trust Ashton. So I was like, okay, well, I'll probably cancel it, but okay, let's do it. So, and it comes with a free oil. So I was like, oh, okay, well, sure, I'll have a free something. But honestly, that's the only reason that I've kept buying things and kept like replacing things. So, and trying things and switching things out. So, the Central Rewards program is super easy. It saves you 20% of your products, so you don't get them, or you get them on wholesale instead of retail price. So that's a huge deal because they're pretty pricey because they're worth it. But so in the long run, let me look. It automatically saves you 10% back, and then it goes to 20%, and then eventually you'll hit 25%, and that's in your rewards points. So for so many products that you buy and money that you spend, you get rewards points back. So I get to buy more free stuff. Which Colton, my fiance, he's usually like, well, it's not really free, but it actually is. So that's really fun. But when you get to do that, so if you want to try switching out your thieves cleaner. So I have, Ashton also sent me this. It's the simple swap. So say you want to switch out your bathrooms. It has shampoo, conditioner, face wash, body wash, all the things that you might want to switch out. And then if you flip to the back, it shows you all the products that Young Living has that you can use your Essential Rewards program with. But if you had it up close, you would notice that in almost every section, it says Thieves Household Cleaner or some kind of Thieves product. So you can easily just choose one. Like if you get Thieves Cleaner, you can make all the types of cleaner that you need. You can mix it and make a laundry booster. You can mix it with your laundry soap. Like you can do all kinds of things. And just by doing that little touch, you can add one a month or you can add one every 3 months. Like the Essential Rewards program is the only reason that I switched things, because I was like, oh, well, I want to try this and I want to try that, but I need to pace myself. So I did pace myself, and I really can't believe how much stuff I have now that I just got to toss the rest of the toxic stuff that I don't need. I feel so much better. And like Ashton said, with the midday lull, like used to kind of like 1:30 hit and I'd be like, oh man, but yeah, I'm great. Like it doesn't really happen. Sometimes it does, but that's usually when I drink my Ningxia. Also, if you like, okay, so rewards points, you get it if you you go through if you go through our reward system, it gets delivered straight to your door. So that's awesome right now, especially you don't have to go to the store, and the store you're not saving money, you're not getting points back, you're not getting any kind of special treatment. honestly. Um, yeah, and there's just tons of ways that you can make your things last longer. You can dilute it, you can add drops to scent things. Like, you don't have to just be, your products don't have to be safe and not smell good. Like, you can make them fun. But I think that's all I have. So we'll go to Rachel, I think.
So my story is pretty similar. There are a lot of things that, I just didn't realize would cause an issue until I had already ditched everything. But one thing that I could appreciate right away was both of my kids have very sensitive skin, and like I can't tell you how many times before Young Living they would develop a rash, and I would take them to the doctor, and they're like, it's atopic dermatitis. It's just you've used something that they're allergic to. And so it was this constant struggle between using the free and clear or letting them use the little kid soaps that smell good and that have the characters and they want to use. And so finally we just went free and clear on everything, and it was just kind of sad because nothing had a scent. The kids' soap didn't have a scent, shampoo didn't have a scent, our laundry detergent didn't have a scent, and that was just the way life was going to be. But then when we started using Young Living and ditching all of our toxic stuff, even this free and clear stuff that was supposed to be, dermatologist approved or National Eczema Foundation approved, turned out to have toxic things in it too, which were like skin irritants, which doesn't make any sense. But we were able to switch and start using like the Kids Scent soap and shampoo for the kids and the Thieves laundry detergent. And it was so nice to have something with a scent again. And, that has a scent, but we could even add essential oils and customize it. My daughter she's hit that preteen stage, and so she didn't want to use the Kids Scent stuff. So we bought her the Bath and Gel shower base, and she loves to add lime to it. So she gets to have her own little customized scent. So that's really my story with ditching and switching. But I wanted to tell you too that we started out slow in my house, and my husband was really skeptical, and I jump in with 2 feet in everything I do. So I was all about it. I wanted to ditch everything and have all the oily stuff. But he's like, you've got to find a way to make it affordable. So a lot of what I did in the beginning was different DIYs. And one of my very first ones that I just love, and it was so easy, was foaming hand soap. And I've got my phone because I can't remember these recipes by heart. Wrong place. So for the foaming hand soap, you can get any type of foaming pump bottle. You can use your old, I can't even remember the name of the store anymore, Bath and Body Works, and dump it out, clean it real good, and then you just add 2 tablespoons of unscented Castile soap. Unscented is important because the scents in the Castile soap are still fragrance, and there's no way to know if they're natural or if they're hormone disruptors, so it's just safer to do unscented. 1 teaspoon of carrier oil, half a teaspoon of vegetable glycerin, and then 10 to 20 drops of your choice of oil. Thieves is a favorite. Citrus Fresh is another great one. And then you just fill it, top it off with water, and put your foaming pump top back in, and you're good to go. And that one's also really great because we have had shortages of the Thieves foaming hand soap. It's been out of stock recently. And so that's a great one to have in case that happens, even if DIY isn't your favorite thing. Another big hit at my house, which my 11-year-old uses, is facial cleansing pads. So you find like a jam jar, 6 to 8 ounces, and you're going to add 1 tablespoon of, I can't say this word, non-comedogenic oil. So this is going to be like almond, or V6 is my favorite. That is the Young Living carrier oil. Then you add half a teaspoon of witch hazel, 1 tablespoon of unscented Castile soap, a 1/4 teaspoon of vitamin E oil, 5 drops each of tea tree, frankincense, and lavender. and then enough distilled water to fill the jar 3/4 of the way, and add your cotton rounds until they soak up all the liquid. And like I said, my daughter uses that and she loves it. It's really convenient and easy. You don't have to wash it off after you're done. And it makes a big difference for her. And a third one is a lumberjack beard oil that my husband really loves. It's super easy. It is just 4 drops of cedarwood and lavender, 2 of rosemary and lime, and 6 of Northern Lights black spruce. And then you top it with a carrier oil. So those are 3 of the favorites in my house. They're tried and true, but I want to encourage you to go out and on this Oily Tribe, our Facebook group, or even on Pinterest or just the internet in general, look for these DIYs. If there's something that, there are very few products that Young Living doesn't have a pre-made of, or maybe you'd prefer a different scent, but look for those and find those recipes, and they're out there, guys. Bath bombs, everything. You can find a recipe for everything. So.
Yes, thank y'all guys. That was really good. And if you want those recipes like in a text form or something to look at them, I want to. And so one, for the overwhelming side, you have us here to help you. And like I said, it just takes one change at a time. But 2, I'm just going to give you the real brief recap of how to make this affordable, because that was and is still really important for my family. We don't have a money tree, wish we did, but it is still really important for us. And so number 1, a lot of you already have this, but if you don't, then get a wholesale membership with Young Living. So a wholesale membership gets you 24% off right off the bat. So step number 1. Step number 2, y'all got to hear Heather talk about it. I'm not going to go over it again, but Essential Rewards gets you immediately 10% more off all of the things that you buy with those points back. And it is literally the easy button. Like, it's amazing. And then even within the products that you're getting, we have hacks and tips and tricks to make them go further. So like a real quick example is I actually dilute my Thieves dish soap in thirds, and I like it even better. So things like that will help you make your products go even further. And then within that, the third way is that there are ways to get just free products in general. One being on Essential Rewards, but if you spend certain amounts, certain tiers, you get free products from Young Living. So that has been a way that we've been able to stock up on things as well. Number 4, DIYs, majorly helpful. And number 5, this was actually a huge part of why I was able to do this at the beginning, start switching out things for us, is my husband was fine with me doing it, but he basically said, you need to figure out how to get that monthly order paid for. He worked for a church at the time. He was an intern, and I was a teacher's assistant in grad school. So you can imagine we were just rolling in the dough, okay? And so he said, you have to figure out how to get that paid for. And so I started kind of dabbling into looking into how to make a paycheck from Young Living. And now that's what I do alongside Raise My Crazy Kids. So those are 5 ways that you can make this really affordable. And I just want to wrap us up with a few thoughts. You are worth it. I know that sounds kind of silly to say, but it really can make a huge impact in your health. the American Cancer Society website says that 90 to 95% of cancer cases are environmentally from poor diet, lack of movement of your body, and chemical exposure. So like the environment that you're in. So that means only 5 to 10% of cancer cases are genetic. So that third piece in there of chemical exposure, we have a huge control of that, because and decide what comes into our home. We don't always get to control what we're exposed to out or in other places, but we do get to control what we put on our bodies and what our kids use. And so it can be truly a life-changing thing, not only in losing some of those minor things that are really bothersome in your day, like your headaches or whatever, but also potentially saving yourself some really big heartache and headache down the road. And there is a quote that I always love with this is, and let me make sure I'm going to get it right. Let me see, where are my notes here? About medical bills down the road or medications down the road. And so every little change counts. You are worth it, and we are here to help you along the way. And so thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you feel empowered and encouraged to make changes, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.